Well, hello everyone. My name is Shanita, and I'm the founder of Future Focus Coaching and Wellness. I'm so happy to see everyone here today. If this is your first time coming to the channel, welcome, friends, welcome. And if you are someone that has returned and come back several times, thank you so much. And I hope that today neither one of you are disappointed with why I want to come live on YouTube to share this message. Now, over the last few weeks, I have had wonderful conversations with clients, with random strangers, just anybody you can think of from any age range. And the consistent theme of these conversations has been the nervous system and people not feeling safe within their own bodies, but not really making the connection between things not going well or life not feeling well or their bodies are not feeling well with the connection to safety inside the body. And a lot of this information I'm going to share today, you already know, and it's going to be a good reminder. But if this is your first time being introduced to the concept of being safe within your own nervous system, within your own body, is really the springboard for health, not only emotionally, mentally, or physically, but it also facilitates growth and healing in your own lives. I've come to realize over the past several months, really since 2025, just how profound the importance is for us to make sure that our nervous systems are calm and better regulated. So today I want us to dive a little deeper into how to make that connection. My question for all of us today is, can you even tell that your nervous system is out of sorts? Are you able to recognize anymore what anxiety feels like to you? I know it's difficult for most people because we have become so skillful and masterful at dismissing the dis-ease and discomfort that we feel. Many of us have the moniker of I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm going to persevere through it, despite the body saying I need a break, I need rest. Now, I don't want to come down on people because I know there are many times where it's important that we push through and we persevere. But let's think about those moments where we don't have to do that. Where when our body begins to give us clues or gives us warning signs, I want us to learn how to be aware of when our body is speaking wisdom to us, to know those signs and symptoms, and to have practical tools at our disposal to be able to say, okay, I'm feeling a little stressed and overwhelmed right now. No problem. I've got a great action plan over here, and I'm going to take care of that. Because how many of us know that the whispers from the body and the mind, if they're left unattended and helped, they begin to grow into roars. And when we get into that space where your body is screaming at you, that may not be a very safe place for you to be. Because that can usually come with some major illnesses, major symptoms that really could have been addressed. Now, I want to make sure that you tap into your um, a trusted licensed medical professional for all things medical and for all things mental health related. But I'm just going to give you some pointers on how to be aware and some things that you can do in the moment that won't cost a lot of money and a lot of time to implement. Okay? So let's begin. Now, the question I have for all of us is, can we recognize when our body and our minds are feeling overwhelmed? So let's do a simple exercise right now. I want us to start with some conscious breath work. And I'm going to ring this Himalayan bowl. And while the bowl is singing, I want you to take a deep breath, close your eyes, and place your feet firmly on the ground. Okay? And begin to notice anything special in your body. What is your body going to say to you? Now let's go. Now, as your eyes continue to be closed, I want you to think about, where did you feel any anxiety leave you? Did you notice it in your jaws? Did you notice it in your neck or shoulders? Or did you even notice anywhere around your stomach area? And if you will, take a deep breath in and exhale. Now, whenever you feel led to do so, begin to open your eyes and gently bring yourself back into this moment with us. Very nice. Now, many of us, we're not aware of how stress really impacts us in the moment. But hopefully that simple exercise made you aware of where tension was released. And for me, I tend to hold it in my jaws and my shoulders. So I could really feel the vibrations and the frequency help me to release that. So what about you? Put it in the comments below. Where do you feel the release of this tension? Now, a lot of us live in survival mode because life is so busy. Modern life is not for the faint of heart. We're going here, we're going there. We have these responsibilities. We must earn a living. We want to make sure that we're living our best life. But even the thought of wanting to live my best life can sometimes feel daunting, because it's like, that's another thing on the to-do list to be able to do, right? So we want to make sure that when we are living day to day, that we are aware of the four faces that being in survival mode does for us. It disconnects us from who we are inside. It disconnects us from the world outside of us. It impacts our thinking, our ability to make good decisions, decisions that help us to have a more meaningful existence, a more meaningful life, keeping us away from unnecessary people, unnecessary stressors. But walking through life and your body is out of sorts and your mind is racing and it won't slow down, that really doesn't feel good. But these are key indicators that our nervous systems are out of balance. So if you are living in constant survival mode, I gotta push through, I gotta do this no matter what, I want to help your heart to feel a little bit lighter today and offer a gentle way forward on how we can help you reverse that. But it all begins with awareness and recognition. So let's go ahead and get started with the four faces of a nervous system that's in overload and overwhelm. Now, we start with the fight response, and that's pretty self-explanatory, because these individuals typically, their anger is off the charts. Their irritability, the frequency of this irritability is overwhelming. You get sudden bursts of anger. You're snapping at people, and it doesn't even have to be big things. It's small things. But what it does is that it reduces your energy outward, and people may see it as aggression, or they may see it as a confrontation that you're always having with other people. Now, the flight response, it manifests in restlessness. You can't sit still. Your mind is going 100 miles an hour. You're constantly being busy. And your anxiety, while you feel it and you know it's there, you don't stop. Mainly because you don't know if you can. It almost feels as if your body the stress has taken over your ability to manage it itself. You're constantly being rushed. You're never in a space where you feel grounded, or even for long if you're able to achieve that. And the worry that comes when you are in the flight response is incredibly overwhelming. And then you have the freeze. The freeze looks like numbness. You've been through the fight, you can't sit still, and now you're just in this space where I just feel emotionally stuck. I can't move forward, I can't move backward. I really feel shut down inside. Now, this is your nervous system's way of saying you're dead until this threat that's going on in our lives is over with. You are emotionally disconnected. You procrastinate, or you are just stuck in a state of paralysis and you have the difficulty making decisions. This freeze response is overwhelming. And then the last phase of a dysregulated nervous system is the fawn response. And this is where I believe many of us empaths and highly sensitive people get caught up. And that we go into, I'm going to pour all of my energy into other people. I people please so that I can keep the peace, because the last thing I need is more stress to deal with. In the fawn phase, you are silencing your own needs and your own wants because you are so busy trying to keep other people happy. You want their emotional well-being to be at the forefront because it's easier to help someone else than it is to deal with our own stuff. This can also be looked at as a way for us to be good. We don't want to say no. It's a struggle to say no to people, and we ignore our own boundaries if we happen to have them. And it's the underlying fear of disappointing people. You don't want to disappoint people. You don't want to hurt them. But guess what? You're doing it at a cost. And is that cost really worth it? Is it fair to you and your emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being? So these 4 phases is how all this dysregulated nervous system overload really wreaks havoc or plays out in our lives. Now, in the comments below, tell me, which ones have you navigated in these? Are you a flight response, a fight response, freeze response, or fawn? Now, just a second ago, I was talking about the hidden cost of being in survival mode constantly. Just quickly, your emotions are blocked. You're constantly hyper vigilant because you're in a constant state of having to be aware of potential threats. But what that does is that it stunts your growth emotionally and physically because you're constantly preparing for something bad to happen. And in that state, you block off or you disengage from connection to happiness, to grounding, to safety. Just basic things we should take for granted as human beings. Because something is impossible, not something impossible when living in survival mode is always lurking around the corner. You just never know, but your body has to brace for such an impact. And that's a lot of energy to maintain moment to moment. But we've become so good at it that now it's a secondhand response and we're not even aware of it. You can't grow when your body thinks it's in danger. There's just no way to help you make substantive change, to truly help us get out of this state of anxiety and stress, unless we deal with whatever it is that's allowing us to think we're in danger. For many people, it's the work environment. For others, it could be a relationship, a significant relationship that we just can't easily find our way out of. It could be feeling as if we haven't accomplished much in life and we don't have the necessary time to be able to do that. When we're looking at other people and how they live and wishing it was us, and instead being down on ourselves because we may not be where we want to be in life. When we put our minds and our bodies in these types of situations, we stop the ability to grow, the ability to make substantive connections, meaningful things to come into our lives to help to empower and uplift us. How about you guys? I know that I've struggled with the constant hypervigilance of everything. How about you? What do you tend to struggle with? What has your chronic survival mode cost you? Now, we're going to go through some warning signs of, recognizing the warning signs emotionally and physically. And we touched on this briefly, but let's go through the list again. Now, physical manifestations would be muscle tension. Now, I shared that with you earlier about how there are times when I carry it in my jaws. You know, you clench your teeth. So I'm going to show you a weighted tuning fork. And that just means you see these weights on either side of the tuning time on the tines. And then since I use it on my jaws, I have a glider on the end of it. So that way it glides smoother around my face. So I'm going to activate the tuning fork. And I'll put it right here. And then gently go up and down the line of my jaw. And then for balance, I make sure that I do it on both sides. And it brings such beautiful relief. And I'm so grateful for that because that's something that's easy to do, instant and in the moment. Now, other warning signs for a dysregulated nervous system is sleep disturbance, either difficulty going to sleep or staying asleep. How many of you guys struggle with that? And let's see. So I can't believe it. Hold on just a second. Okay, digestive problems in the stomach. We talked about this earlier. And basically the digestive issues are just trying to tell us, look, there are some things going on in my life that's hard to swallow. And I don't know if I agree with it, but I also don't know that I'm powerful enough to change it. Or I have enough support to be able to change this bad taste in my mouth, right? So you want to look out for that. And chronic fatigue. Look, so many people are working so hard just to maintain life that we are physically drained. You hear stories all the time about people sleeping behind the wheel of a car because they're tired. They're not getting rest. They may sleep, but they are not getting rest. So I want to make sure we drive home the point today, how to recognize those warning signs. Because we all know that when the body begins to speak to us, it's a gentle whisper. It's a, I didn't sleep well last night. I got to make sure that tonight I sleep good. But if we don't take care of ourselves, it goes all the way up to a full roar. And next thing you know, that first night where you didn't get good sleep turns into, now it's been several months, several years. And for some people, in extreme cases, I can't remember the last time I've had a good night's sleep. So if you are struggling with any of these things, I want you to begin to get a journal, write it down, where exactly in your body you are experiencing these things. Because they are clues, they are powerful clues to help you get the rest and the restoration that you need in your mind, body, and spirit. Now, the emotional, I was speaking about this earlier, having difficulty making good decisions, your brain not being able to slow down. These are the emotional triggers that you want to make sure you look out for as well. And the reason why all these matter so much is because your cortisol level, your hormones are out of balance and they wreak havoc in your body. And this is the beauty of sound and breath work, is that I can help you with the placement of, let's see, let me put this back on the screen, with Himalayan bowls. Placed along the body, they help to better regulate and move the stress and heavy energies out of the body. So placing them strategically and intentionally along your body and activating the bowls, they are able to ground you very quickly, because brainwave entrainment teaches us that because the energies from these instruments are so powerful, they will take over what it is that you're dealing with and say, here, I got you. Now just relax and let me handle everything and take over. And it works for many people quite instantly. I can tell you within 45 minutes of a therapeutic session, you will leave feeling the session much lighter. And so you're better able to be present in your life and understand, you know, what's going on and how I can maintain this beautiful feeling that I have. And when your cortisol levels go down, you are better equipped to handle that. Now, let's talk about the vagus nerve for just a moment, because it is that super highway nerve that all of us have inside of our bodies. It really helps to put us in the rest and digest phase of in this parasympathetic nervous system. So when that vagus nerve is activated, it wanders throughout the body, creating this supercharged, relaxing, and wonderful feeling. Now, the heart rate variability. This is something I'm not sure gets talked about very often, but this is wonderful because this is how you determine how resilient you are. This is your body's ability to adapt to stress in healthier ways. So we want to make sure we keep that intact. And we spoke about brainwave changes. Now, as a sound practitioner, when you come work with me, I want to see you in those alpha and theta brainwave states, because they are associated with relaxation, with increasing creativity and emotional healing. So this is really important, while the science behind the calm will help you better understand. Because science shows us what the soul already knows. Our bodies are intelligent systems. We need to catch up to it. And sound is one of those ways that help us to get back to our safety and to our calm and grounded state. So the techniques, I want you guys to know this. Peace is not the absence of struggle. It's the presence of safety. Peace is not the absence of struggle. It's the presence of safety. So when you have a regulated nervous system, you have the emotional, the mental, physical, and spiritual capacity for emotional clarity. To be able to see situations without the distortion of your trauma coming through or your survival responses being enacted. You have an authentic connection back to yourself as well as others. You are being proactive in your encounters and not reactive. It includes your creative flow. When your nervous system is regulated, you can better access your higher wisdom and levels of inspiration. And importantly, you also are in your compassionate response phase. You're meeting challenges with wisdom instead of attitude. You're not reacting. You're not taking things personally. Because one thing I want you guys to know, that it's not about being in a consistent state of bliss. It's about developing the capacity to return to yourself over and over and over. To choose yourself again and again and again. To let go of things that really are of disservice to you. And to say, you know what? I'm not going back to that chaos. I'm going to go journal. Or I'm going to go get a nice cup of tea. I'm going to go sleep and take an adult nap during the day just because I can. I don't need an explanation or to justify that. but because I know it's beneficial to me. And what I want everybody that ever works with me or I have a conversation with, I find myself more and more these days saying, it's all about choosing you over and over again. Because when your body feels safe, when your body knows that you have your best interest at heart, it will begin to slow down, choose itself, regulate itself, and give you the best output possible. Your thinking gets better. You're more aligned with people that bring you happiness. You don't tolerate the same stuff like you used to because your body won't even allow it. You can't even stand being around chaos anymore because now your new normal is to crave peace and to be in places that are peace filled. This is the beauty of being someone with a regulated nervous system. Now, some practical tools I talked about earlier is that conscious breath work, making sure you take deep, intentional breaths. So you breathe in for 4 counts, you hold for 4 counts, and you release for 4 counts. And doing that often helps you to instantly reset your brain. How many of you guys like going outside and putting your feet to nature? Using that conscious breath work with your grounding techniques. They are amazing and it doesn't cost you any money. Now, sound healing is one of my favorites. You can use the bowl that we have, a tuning fork, but the most powerful instrument you could have in your toolkit for sound healing is your voice. If you don't have any of the instruments, that's okay. You have a God-given voice and you use it to hum, sing your favorite song, do whatever. I mean, we go in the shower and sing whether you have a great voice or not. That is not the issue. But you are in the shower having fun and just letting it loose. That in and of itself breaks up stagnant energy and helps good energy to move freely throughout your entire body. And the last one is a nurturing touch. Now, many of us have safe, supportive people around us. And this is where we tap into our community more. Now, when I was a young therapist, just starting out years ago, when I was working with clients struggling with substance use, I would tell them, get used to calling your sponsor every day so that whenever you are in a crisis, you don't flinch and you don't have to worry about, is it okay to call? It becomes an automatic response. So I encourage everybody, uh, tap into your supportive and safe community. Make sure you're contacting them frequently. And if you are able to be in the same space as them, if it's acceptable to you both, go for a long hug. Hugs are incredibly restorative and will reduce cortisol levels and anxiety levels instantly. So now you have 4 practical tools that will help you, and they don't even cost money. This is wonderful. So 4 tools for you to use to help you return to a state of calm. Okay. Sorry about the delay. On my end, it said that internet was out, but just so we are clear, okay, so the last thing I remember saying was about the four techniques, right? The four ways that you can restore calm back to your nervous system. So now we're going to talk about why that's important. And we can quickly go through that, and that is emotional clarity. Who doesn't want to feel clear in their thinking and in their being? It gives us deeper relationships because we are better connected when we can show up clearly and be present with the people that we love, and we're not constantly trying to push back all the fear and anxiety that we experience, but we can show up for people in more authentic ways. That just, it hits different. It feels so much better. The decision making, that's amazing because I know that I'm going to make decisions, not knee jerk reaction, but to be in a place of empowerment, to be intentional about what I choose, knowing that as I choose myself again and again, I'm making decisions that make my spirit happy, that make my mind lighter, that makes my body feel more at ease. And those four interventions that I share with you, they are sustainable. It's something that I can easily do right now, even in this moment. And it can also be a part of my long continued the supply ever running out. So I'm just excited about that, and I'm grateful to share these things with you and to get you to see how coming back to yourself doesn't have to be this huge organization. Now, one thing I want you to know as I wrap up today, and I want you to remember this and remember this well. A, that you don't have to live stuck in survival mode. You don't have to live stuck in survival mode. Your nervous system is incredibly wise, and it knows how to lead you back to a state of calm. Can you slow down? Can you be still and listen to your internal wisdom? Can you hear the wisdom that your body, mind, and spirit are sharing with you? And will it lead you to take inspired action to accept it and move forward with the guidance you're being given? Just remember, every conscious breath you take, every time you slow down, every time you take a nap, every time you honor your boundaries and you enforce them and you reinforce them, all of these beautiful things are helping you to get back to choosing yourself over and over and over again. And choosing yourself does not mean that you are selfish. Choosing yourself means that the you care about you and how you are moving in this world. How you're reacting to the world around you. I wish for more people to begin to choose themselves more and more so that they can be more present in the things that they do. Now, if you're like me, a high empath or a highly sensitive person, you want to make sure that you keep giving. Like, that's our love language, right? But what if I shared with you that you can do that and be more intentional? That your giving game can just go from here to here, not because you are putting out more effort, but because you are putting that effort into you, and out of the overflow of taking care of you, you do so much more good in the world. Because nobody wants to be helped by someone that looks like they're not even taking good care of themselves. And today I share with you four ways to do that. breathing, sound, or your voice. Being around people that you know are safe and supportive. Supportive touch, hugs. They mean everything. And you want to make sure that you engage with these things as often as possible. Now I want to close out today with another extract with a bowl. And let me know where you feel it. So I'm going to ask you one last time before we say goodbye. Can you now recognize when you're stressed? Are you better equipped to see precisely in your life how stress is manifesting in your life? I hope so, friends, because you don't have to deal with it as much as you once did before. This gives yourself a fighting chance. And as always, make sure that you contact a licensed physician or medical professional to help you. And, you get the support that you need in any way possible. It's not about judgment. It's about making sure you choose yourself again and again in any way that best supports you on your journey. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your great energy. And let's hold a compassionate conversation in the comments. Let me know how stress works in your life and which one of these 4 ways you'd like to use it to help relieve some of that stress. Thank you guys for being here, and I can't wait to see you soon.